everyone, so welcome to the second tutorial, which I'll be showing you how to add these trees to the model. So in the supplied model, there is a layer with the trees already on it, so you can click vegetation and go show, so you'll see our trees are right here. Select our tree layer and unlock everything else, so we won't be needing those. So here we have put in 4 default trees, you can see here. So you can use the trees in the model, but if you're wanting to use it for your own model and you want a different variety of trees, a good website that I use is Archive3D, and then you can just search for trees, and there's a lot of free tree models there, or you can use your whatever you prefer. But for this model, I've got these trees already in. So we'll start off by adding materials to the trees. So as you can see here, we got the wood and then the leaves. So to start off, we'll find our wood texture that we're going to use. A good one for trees I always use using the default V-Ray is usually this one here. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I think we'll use this one here. Up in there, DO2. Let's go add the scene. Now we want to edit this texture, as this has reflection on it, which would only look good if it was like a scene where it's raining, but in this case it's dry. So we want to click this arrow here and come down to reflection and turn this down to 0. Or you can put maybe like a tiny bit on, 0.1-ish. And then for the leaf material, we want to go to grass. Oh, sorry, we go to ground. Then we find grass A here. Add this, and then we need to edit this material as well. So we select it, open up this tab again, and then you want to click here where it says texture slot. Then we go to color manipulation. Now, as it's fall or autumn, however you want to say it, in this scene, we're going to change the grass texture to orange. So where it says color gain, we're going to select this, just click on it, and we'll change it to more of an orange tint. So you can see here it's changing. So you want to refer back to your reference image to make sure you get the color right. So I think it looks pretty good. A little bit lighter. We can always go back and edit this later. So we'll use this for now. So just close that. And because we've changed the color of the material, you can just edit the title by double clicking on it. So we'll change that to grass orange. And that's all materials we need for this video. So we can go ahead and close this. Then we'll add our material to the trees. So now these trees are grouped into 2 layers. Or into 2 groups, sorry. So we got the leaves and then the tree trunk and branches. So we'll just go ahead and select all of the tree trunks. It will be a help to use rendered view for this. Then we want to apply our wood texture to this. So the same as the last video. And in this case, there's no need to add the box mapping, but if the material does look distorted or pixelated, you can go ahead and use the box mapping as we did in the last video. But this material looks pretty good. So now we can go ahead and add the leaves now. So we just select all the leaf layers and go onto our grass A. It looks pretty green, so we'll just go into our V-Ray interactive mode again to see what it looks like. There you go. So as I said before, it will look different in the rendered view than it does to the actual V-Ray. So we compare this to our reference image. I'd say it looks pretty, maybe it's a little bit dark, so we make the text just a little bit lighter. Just go back into here, click on this part again, and just increase the lightness a little bit. Now this here color offset can also help increase the lightness just a little bit, so we're just going to add a little bit. Not much at all, but just, oh, that looks good. So let's go back into our interactive mode. So that's looking a bit better. So that's what our trees are going to look like. The branches are still a bit dark as we haven't added the sun yet, which we'll do that in the next tutorial. That looks good for now, so we can change it back to the shaded view. And we just want to make sure all the trees are on the same level now. So we'll go ahead, set that to right, and we'll just put, as these trees are made out of mesh, there's no actual points for Rhino to detect, so you have to use Gumball, which is a built-in Rhino plugin. But you pretty much use that to move the objects. As they're a natural formation, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Alright, so now we go back to reference image. Not all the trees have leaves on them, so we're going to be making block instances using these, as it really helps keep your file a lot smaller and makes the file run a lot smoother. Before we do that, we're just going to copy these 4 trees. So we have 2 sets of the trees on these ones, we just want to delete the leaves. Some of these models aren't the best, and they have some floating aspects, but you won't be able to see them in the rendering anyway, so we won't worry about that. Now to turn these into block instances to help save space on your file, I'm going to go ahead and just add just a rectangle, and then put the corner of the rectangle underneath each tree. We'll go ahead and hide the ground layer as well to make this easier. It doesn't have to be perfect, just anywhere underneath it. So let's do this for each tree. Also, doing this block instance thing is really useful for any kind of complex model you have that you want to put in your file. If it takes up a lot of space, it just helps reduce the size of it. Alright, so for our first tree here, I want to select it, make sure the rectangle is not selected, and then you just type in block and enter, and it'll say select base point. So we're going to select the corner of the rectangle. You can name it whatever you want. In this case, just name it this, and go OK. It's now set as a block. Then you can go ahead and delete this square here. I won't show me doing it for the rest, but it's pretty much the same thing for the rest of the trees. So I'll just skip forward. Alright, now that all these trees are now set as block instances, it's going to make the file run a lot smoother. So if we go back to our reference image, you start to place the trees accordingly. So we see we got dead tree at the front, so we'll go ahead. We'll choose the most detailed one we got here. I'll show you how to set the camera views properly in a later tutorial, but for now we can kind of just guess. Set this top view to make it a bit easier. We'll kind of set up where the camera will be. Should be about here. And we'll just change the position of this tree. We'll increase the field of view of the camera, so you go set camera, adjust lens length, and it'll give you this slider here, so you click and drag to zoom in or to zoom out using the camera lens. So zoom it in just a little bit. You hold down control, right click to zoom it out. Might have done a bit too much there, so we can just zoom out a little bit. Alright, so I'll just skip forward and show you the end result. So pretty much you're just looking at a reference image, copy and paste the trees, and just put them around the building however you want, whatever looks best. So I'll just skip forward to once I've placed all the trees around the building. So once we've got our trees all placed around here, that's pretty much it. So we can go into the interactive view to see what it looks like. So kind of put our camera where we want it. Go back into the interactive view. As you can see, I've spread out the trees with the dead ones and the ones with leaves on them, the ones without leaves on them. But this is kind of what it will look like. So in the next tutorial, we'll be doing the ground and the grass. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.